particularly going after her wonderful half-sister, Samantha.
And suddenly you just have my mom, who's classy and quiet and there, and then you have the other side of my family that is just...
The fairy tale is unraveling, and the woman once embraced as the modern face of the monarchy now stands accused of the ultimate betrayal. Meghan Markle, once hailed as the glowing Duchess mother, is under fire after her own half-sister Samantha stepped into the spotlight with a jaw-dropping live exposé, and what followed could destroy everything the Sussexes built. Claims of fake pregnancies, staged photos, and a secretly silenced surrogate have ignited a scandal that may not just tarnish her image, but threaten the royal legacy of her children. What if the story we believed was never real at all? Make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell icon, and stay with us, because what you're about to hear could change everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle. For years, Meghan Markle crafted an image the world couldn't help but admire.
Only for a day and a half. Suddenly, it felt like she was everywhere. I don't know your middle name. I don't know your birthday. I hadn't had her fall out with her. We didn't have a closeness to be able to have that.
She wasn't just the American actress who married into royalty. She was the modern Duchess. Stylish yet relatable, fiercely protective of her family, and a proud mother who seemed to radiate love every time she stepped into the spotlight. Whether it was cradling her baby bump in front of flashing cameras or delivering emotional interviews about motherhood and mental health, Meghan knew how to command sympathy and admiration in equal measure. Photos of her beaming in elegant gowns, smiling at Harry, and gently touching her stomach were everywhere. The vision of a woman defined by maternal grace. To millions, Meghan was the fairy tale come to life, the woman who brought heart back into the royal family. But all of that was about to be questioned. But then the silence broke, and it wasn't from the press, the palace, or the public.
So she's trying to make out there that she has no form of relationship with you.
Well, that's been the rhetoric so far, and I think, I was never out there saying...
It came from the one person Meghan had spent years trying to erase from her story, her half-sister, Samantha Markle. Brushed off for years as bitter, unstable, or simply irrelevant, Samantha had been cast as the jealous outsider, a narrative Meghan made sure stuck. But everything changed the moment Samantha appeared live on air. Calm, direct, and disturbingly composed, she didn't come with gossip. She came with allegations that threatened to dismantle the very identity Meghan had built. And at the center of it all was a claim so unthinkable, so explosive, that even Meghan's most loyal supporters felt shaken.
We thought, my brother and I thought, a pretty normal life. But it wasn't until the time of the wedding when the media started to get to us. In other words, we didn't seek out the media. We were...
With a voice that cut through years of palace PR, Samantha accused Meghan of faking the most sacred part of her story, motherhood. With the world watching, Samantha Markle dropped a claim that sent shockwaves through social media, royal watchers, and longtime supporters alike. She suggested Meghan's pregnancies weren't real at all. According to Samantha, the same woman who was once photographed lovingly cradling her baby bump had actually staged the entire journey of motherhood. Every appearance, every interview, every tear and heartbeat, a calculated performance for the cameras. She claimed Meghan wore prosthetics, used PR to manipulate the narrative, and deceived not just the royal family, but the entire world.
In my opinion, this is what it seemed like. Seal off the hatches so nobody can talk. And almost instantly, it seemed as though dirt was being thrown upon us so that if somebody did speak to us that...
For many, it sounded too outrageous to believe, until another voice entered the conversation. A woman known only as DL, a previously unheard name, who claimed to be the surrogate behind both of Meghan's children. And unlike rumors tossed around in tabloids, DL didn't come with whispers. She came with what she claimed was evidence. DL didn't speak in riddles. She spoke with a calm gravity, not as a gossip monger, but as someone who had waited years to be heard. She claimed that she was the woman who carried both of Meghan's children, and that her role had been wiped from existence the moment the cameras began rolling. She showed what she said were medical records, hospital bills, and even a signed non-disclosure agreement, all pointing to an alleged surrogacy arrangement cloaked in secrecy.
That weren't real in the media and always out there. So it's not like we were out there trying to... Yeah, it was very weird.
And what's so horrible about what she's done in this TV show is she's
DL revealed she had been promised privacy and compensation in return for silence. But what she got was erasure. And then came the line that stopped viewers cold. Meghan wore a fake belly, and the world believed it. At once, the tender photos of Meghan cradling her bump, the iconic images that had come to define her royal era, were no longer seen as glowing moments of motherhood. They were being re-examined as performance art, meticulously staged to sell a lie. Clips from years ago began resurfacing online. Moments where Meghan's belly appeared to shift, fold, even collapse as she moved. For critics, these clips weren't just awkward camera angles anymore.
particularly going after her wonderful half-sister, Samantha.
And suddenly you just have my mom, who's classy and quiet and there, and then you have the other side of my family that is just acting differently. My half-sister, who I hadn't seen for...
Backed by DL's claims, they looked like smoking guns. As DL's claims began flooding social media, the internet exploded. Hashtags trended, conspiracy threads multiplied, and old footage of Meghan was dissected frame by frame. What was once a niche group of skeptics suddenly became a mainstream audience, asking the one question no royal fan ever imagined. Was it all fake? But perhaps the loudest reaction came in the form of silence from Buckingham Palace. No statements, no denials, not even the usual sources close to the family chatter. The firm, so famously swift in shutting down unfounded rumors, stayed completely quiet.
Dirt was being thrown upon us so that if somebody did speak to us, that we would have no credibility. So it was an interesting phenomenon, and this vicious cycle of wanting to set the record straight, wondering what was going on with her, wanting to give her the benefit of the doubt, and still all the while feeling like...
And for many, that silence wasn't protective. It was suspicious. Viewers began to remember the oddities. How Meghan's birth announcements had broken royal tradition. How there were no iconic hospital steps photos. How senior royals had politely distanced themselves during those key milestones. Suddenly, a story that once seemed far-fetched started to feel plausible. If the palace truly believed Meghan gave birth, critics asked, why didn't they treat it like any other royal birth? What were they protecting and why? Behind palace walls and public silence, another storm was brewing. This one inside Meghan and Harry's inner circle.
Wow.
Firstly, wow, what a porky pie. When that happened, also at the same time, we had found out that with my dad's heart attack, the Queen and King Charles wanted to reach out, but we heard that my sister said no. Similarly with this, I just recently found...
According to insiders, Prince Harry is panicking. Furious, paranoid, and increasingly unstable, he's reportedly lashing out at staff, obsessing over online coverage, and demanding an aggressive legal strategy to shut the story down. This is the same Harry who once stood before the world and spoke about vulnerability, trauma, and the importance of mental health. But now, he's desperately trying to suppress a narrative that threatens to unravel everything he stood for: authenticity, honesty, and healing. Those close to the couple say Meghan has gone fully into PR mode, instructing legal teams to prepare cease and desist letters and consider lawsuits against both Samantha and DL.
Speak. I wanted my kids to be raised with their grandparents because I didn't trust babysitters. When I was dealing with disability and having to work, I didn't know anyone in Los Angeles well enough that I felt safe with that. So I felt like I was doing the admirable
because you're in a
thing.
wheelchair, Sam, and you were going through...
But the danger in lawfare? It opens the door to discovery, court hearings, medical records, sworn testimonies. Things Meghan reportedly wants to avoid at all costs. As Harry rages from behind the scenes, it's no longer a matter of optics, it's survival. And the world is watching a man once defined by truth now tangled in what could be the lie of his life. Now, Meghan and Harry stand at a crossroads with no good options. On one side, they could stay silent, as they've done so far, and hope the scandal burns out. But silence in the face of serious allegations only fuels speculation, especially when the public already smells deception. On the other side, they could go on the legal offensive, as Meghan is reportedly preparing to do. But that move carries its own explosive risks. Legal action could force this story into the courts, where truth isn't controlled by PR managers, but by judges, subpoenas, and sworn testimony. Hospital records, non-disclosure agreements, and medical histories could all be dragged into the spotlight. And if even part of DL's claims are proven, the damage wouldn't just be reputational. It could be permanent. Meghan's narrative of empowered modern motherhood would be shattered. And Harry, the prince who left royal life to protect his family's privacy, would be remembered not for his courage, but as the man who helped sell a lie.
Was lied to. And my sister, in fact, was the one reportedly who told Ashley she couldn't go to the wedding. So I felt like she was manipulating my daughter, lying to her. And that's really sad because my daughter seemingly was holding a grudge and feeling like I was the reason she couldn't come to the wedding.
It's as if Meghan is now trying...
Every move they make now risks making things worse. This isn't just another media controversy. It's a trap, one closing tighter by the day. This scandal isn't just about Meghan and Harry anymore. It now casts a shadow over the very future of the royal bloodline. At the heart of the accusations lies a question far more devastating than image or reputation. What if Archie and Lilibet's place in royal history was built on a lie? The monarchy is built on lineage, legitimacy, and heritage, and any doubt surrounding a royal birth strikes at the institution's core. If DL's claims are real, and Meghan concealed the use of a surrogate, not only would that mean she fabricated her experience of motherhood, it could place her children's status as royals into constitutional question.
And by the way, what you're saying is completely correct, Samantha, because I've spoken to lots of my own royal sources as well, and they were always very clear. They never told Meghan who to invite to her own wedding.
No hospital photo ops, no public documentation, no official royal witness signatures. It all seemed odd before. Now it looks deliberate. And without public clarity, critics argue, the palace may be forced to act. The very silence once used to protect Meghan may now be the thing that threatens the legacy of her own children. Because this isn't just about PR. It's about who belongs to the crown and who doesn't. Now the spotlight turns to you. With silence from the palace, panic behind Sussex walls, and claims stacking higher by the day, the question no longer belongs to the media or the royals. It belongs to the public. Should Meghan and Harry come clean? Should they finally step forward and tell the truth about Archie and Lilibet, even if it means risking everything they've built? Or should they keep fighting, hiding behind lawyers and carefully crafted public statements?
Father is recovering from a stroke, literally about a 3-hour drive. I mean, could you believe that? She doesn't have a father.
Did they fake a family, or are they just victims of a cruel campaign? It's up to you to decide. So tell us in the comments right now. Write hashtag come clean if you believe Meghan and Harry owe the world answers. Or write hashtag keep fighting if you believe they should protect their truth at all costs. Because scandals fade, but betrayal, especially on this scale, leaves a permanent scar. And if Meghan and Harry don't act soon, this could be the scandal that defines them forever. But this is far from over. Because here's the part Meghan and Harry fear most. This may no longer be a tabloid scandal. It could soon become a constitutional crisis. If doubts continue to grow around the legitimacy of Archie and Lilibet's origins, the monarchy itself may be forced to act. Behind those palace gates, tradition reigns supreme. Titles aren't just symbolic, they're earned through unquestioned bloodlines. And if that certainty crumbles, so does everything tied to it. Could Meghan and Harry's children one day find themselves stripped of royal status? Could the palace, silent until now, publicly intervene to protect the institution? Because this scandal doesn't just threaten reputations, it threatens the foundation of royal history. And in a monarchy built on legacy, truth isn't optional, it's everything. So don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in, because the darkest chapter in the Sussex's royal fairy tale may still be ahead. And in the next episode, we ask, will the palace break its silence and rewrite history to save the crown?